Dreams are like angels, they keep at bay. Love is the light, scaring darkness away.
The summer flew by, or maybe it just seemed that way because I was blissfully happy. Caleb, Nana, Eve, and I have settled into a little pattern. We have become the family that I didn't know I needed. A family with a strong black man at the head. True to his word, he began to close the shop before sundown Friday and on Saturdays because of the Shabbat. He told Nana and I that we had to stop cooking and cleaning on that day as well. So Stormy taught me how to prepare my household the day before, so that we can just rest on the Sabbath and study scriptures. I got started early Friday mornings, cleaning the house or doing the best I can with all the construction that was still going on. Then I would prepare food for Friday night and Saturday. I had to prepare a lot because Caleb's appetite was lethal. I began to look forward to the Sabbath because it was the one day we all just was able to relax. Most times we didn't even change out of our pajamas. Caleb shared with Nana and I what he had been learning from the brothers at the Lion's Den. His warrior's training was just as much scriptural study as it was physical labor. His growth has been amazing. It's like he's becoming a new man. One night he came in really late after everyone had gone to bed. Well, everyone except me. You see, it was the first time since he'd lived here that he was a no-call, no-show for dinner. And I ain't gonna lie, I was worried. I had texted and I called him several times, no answer. Something was wrong and I felt it in the pit of my belly. I heard him when he came through the door and quietly came up the stairs. Caleb had his contractors remodel the master bedroom first, so now he and I both slept in it while they remodeled the other rooms on this floor. We had gotten all new furniture because he said mine was too girly for him. He had insisted on getting a king-size bed, saying that he needed room to make the things happen he made happen between the sheets. Shaking my head. Men. Anyway, I was laying in our huge bed facing the wall, and I heard him come in rather than see him. But I knew right off something was wrong because he went straight to the bathroom. A minute later, the shower came on. I slipped out of the bed and I went to the door knocking gently. No answer. Caleb, I called. Nothing. I opened the door slightly and peeked around it to see him sitting on the side of the tub. He was staring down at the floor, lost in his head, and he was covered in blood. There was blood on his hands, splatters on his face and clothes. "Oh my goodness, baby, what happened to you?" I cried, running toward him, searching him with shaking hands. I was freaking out because I didn't know if the blood was his or someone else's. And instead of him responding to me, he just wrapped his strong arm around my waist, pulling me close, burying his face in my stomach. "Caleb, what happened? You're shaking." I wrapped my arms around him, trying to comfort him the best way I could. Eventually, I helped him get undressed. He did have some cuts and bruises, but the majority of the blood wasn't his. Thank Yah. I had to get in the shower with him to help him wash. I don't know where his mind was, but it was far away from the here and now. Whatever had happened to him at the Lion's Den must have just blown him away. After the shower, we laid down in the bed, and he literally pulled me close, burying his face in my chest, seeking comfort. I held him because he needed me to. I had never seen him like this. What in the world could have happened to cause an ex-mob boss to ball up like a small boy that had been traumatized? When I asked him about it the next day, his response was,
Man, until last night, my stepfather was the biggest monster I knew.
Vague much? I pondered on that for days after. I even tried to get him to expound on it, but he wouldn't.
Baby, some things ain't meant for you to know.
What? Heck no. That wasn't gonna work for me. I went to Stormy about it. She chuckled, shaking her head. You will learn soon enough. And like the rest of us, once you see it, you're gonna wish you never had. Don't rush it. Let Yah grow you in your time. What? So yeah, apparently it wasn't time for me to know or see whatever had stunned my husband the way that it did that night. But whatever happened to him changed him. He was not the same man. It was like his eyes had been opened to a brand new reality, and his old reality just didn't seem to matter in comparison. One Sabbath, his brother came by. Caleb, Nana, and I were in the living room listening to a brother on YouTube that Lion had told him about. He was teaching about the importance of fasting. Now, I'll tell you why Caleb needed to watch this in a minute. First, let me finish telling you about what happened with his brother. So anyway, we were sitting there, me still in my pajamas, Caleb in a pair of sweatpants and his tank, Nana in one of her multicolored moo-moos. Eve was asleep in her bed. The house was quiet because Caleb didn't let the contractors work on the Sabbath either. However, his phone was blowing up with calls and texts. The calls he didn't answer, but the texts he did, and he wasn't happy about it. Shortly after that, somebody knocked on the door. Caleb looked real angry before he got up and answered it. "What?" was all he said. Nana and I both frowned at how rude he had answered the door. "Man, what you mean, what?" When I heard who it was, I exhaled, looking over at Nana. I know for a fact Caleb had intentionally not let Rashid come here because he was too ignorant. And he didn't want Nana to know that he had a brother like that.
"Nigga, what?"
His voice rose slightly. He was mad and getting mad about a minute. The muscles in his arms and shoulders bunched like he was going to hit Rashid.
"Man, dude, I've been trying to get in contact with you. I know you didn't want me to show up here, but what else am I supposed to do when you don't even answer my calls?"
Caleb exhaled before turning to look back at us.
"Give me a minute, ladies,"
he said before going out the door, shutting it behind him. Only instead of stepping around his brother, he pushed him back out of his way. What you think that was about?" Nana asked. I shrugged. "I don't know, but that's his little brother." "Oh," she said, nodding like that explained everything. Anyway, he had been in no better mood when he came in off the porch from talking to his brother. Something was going on with Rashid. I think he was in trouble. But of course, that was another topic Caleb would not discuss with me. So I took his advice and I didn't worry about it. Okay, so let me tell you why Lion was having Caleb watch videos on the importance of fasting. Poor baby. Apparently, Lion put him on some kind of, sex ban that was driving him crazy. If not for me standing strong and just outright refusing him, he wouldn't make it. Every night, he tried to talk me into breaking his fast.
"Come on, babe,"
he said, sliding into the bed next to me.
"It ain't like Lion gonna know. Here, let's just do it real quick. Come on, girl, I'm fainting."
Cause see, Stormy told me you were going to say that. And Lion may not know, but this fast you on don't have nothing to do with him. This fast is between you and Yah. What you saying he ain't gonna know? He was staring at me for a while, looking real salty before turning his back toward me.
"I'm going to sleep. And no, I can't hold you. I suffer, you suffer."
At that point, I could no longer hold on to my laughter. "Oh, Gay, don't be like that," I purred, leaning against his shoulder. But he would only shrug me off.
"No, you don't even care that I'm over here dying."
I fell back in the bed laughing. You wouldn't even think to hear these words coming from a man like him. "It's almost over. Lion said that you should be done with that part of your training by Madam Queen's end of December show. He sat up and looked down at me.
Baby, that's like 3 weeks away. I ain't gonna make it.
I smiled up at him, rubbing my hand across his beautiful chest. You're gonna make it because you're strong, you're focused, and capable. Y'all didn't choose wrong when he chose you. You can do this, babe. He smiled down at me before kissing my lips.
Yeah, I can do this.
Now, with all that being said, on the flip side, just between me and you, I wasn't that strong. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wanted to see my king become all that he was meant to be. But a girl has needs too. So I went to Stormy. You shouldn't just look at this as his fast. It's a fast for the both of you. Like him, you should be taking this time to get closer to the Heavenly Father. You two are co-heirs for that spot in the kingdom, which means you must pull your own weight and establish your own relationship with Yah. Sure, your husband can teach you and guide you, but you still have to do the work. Learn how to pray. It doesn't matter what for. You need strength to get through this fast. Pray for it. You need Yah to help guide you through your studies. Pray for it. He answers prayer. He's listening. Just talk to him. And so I did. I began to join Caleb in his morning prayers, and we prayed together again at night. My scripture reading was going really good. I had made it to the book of 2 Kings. I was beginning to feel like I was developing a personal relationship with Abba Yah, and it felt good. Everything was going perfect. I even managed to get Mika out of her house by inviting her to join Shantae and Keturah and myself and Mama Rita's for lunch. I figured she could use a little distraction, and there was no better distractors than Keturah and Shantae. All I'm saying is, if those Africans were my people, why they sell us into slavery in the first place? Shantae asked Keturah. And just like I knew they were going to do, they had started in on each other. I had already warned Mika about them. They're like oil and water, and it's no better entertainment for miles around. Surprisingly, Mika was all for it. Yeah, I could go for watching a little cattiness. Child, a little. You better get ready to laugh, because these two don't know that. Look, they don't do nothing little. Oh my goodness. It sounds as if you actually picked up a book and read, Keturah responded to her before she took a sip of her fruity cocktail. Oh, 'cause I'm ghetto, I gotta be illiterate? Shantae asked, putting her hand on her hip. Keturah grunted. You know what? You're a racist, Shantae threw at her. Keturah nearly choked on her drink. Racist? You know what? Great. See, I complimented you too soon. This poor ghetto soul doesn't even know what the word racist means. Bless her heart. You know, words with more than 3 letters, it ain't her strong suit. Mika brought her napkin to her mouth to cover her laugh. I know exactly what it means. You're racist against ghetto people. Keturah opened her mouth insulted. How am I gonna be racist against my own people? That's just it. We ain't your people. Your people over there eating monkey meat and berries. Mika had to turn away after that one. I shook my head. That was funny. Shantae, you ain't right for that, I told her. What? It's a difference, and I don't know why Keturah can't see it. My people like chicken. She held up a piece of chicken from her plate. Your people like monkey meat. As she said that, she did a little imitation of a monkey, causing Mika to lose it laughing. We were laughing so hard at our table, we attracted Mama Rita, who came and joined us for a little while. This was my 3rd time having lunch with her this week. She hadn't opened up to me about what was going on with her sons, but whatever it was had her worried. Where's my baby? She asked, pulling out an empty chair and joining us. The last few times she and I had met, I had brought Eve with me. She wanted Eve to get comfortable with her so that she could spend the night over her house sometimes. My Nana wanted to spend some time with her today. Mama Rita cut her eyes at me over the table. "You tell your Nana that's my grandbaby too?" She pouted with a smile on her face. I nodded, but I had no idea how I was going to tell Nana that. Look, y'all, don't judge me too harshly. I would have been told her who Caleb was if she hadn't been so sick of late. She's not stupid. She knows something is going on between us. She just doesn't know about our history. And I figured I could just, let it play out naturally until she starts feeling better. Then I would tell her everything. Well, almost everything. I wasn't ever going to tell her about what I did that night Caleb went to jail, or that he had called a hit on Man. That news will kill her for sure. When she was feeling better, I was just going to let her know that Caleb was in fact Eve's dad and that he'd done the right thing and married me as soon as he found out. But first, I had to get her feeling better. I decided to go and talk to Stormy's friend Sweetest. And I know Nana is going to be upset about it, but I was desperate. See, the things Sweetest could do with herbs and plants were nothing short of amazing. And I know she can make something that can help Nana with her coughing that seemed to be getting worse. The other day, she tried to hide it from me, but she coughed up blood. I saw the tissue in her wastebasket when I cleaned her room. I begged her to let me take her to the doctor, but she stubbornly refused. And of course, I went to torture myself by asking Google about her symptoms. Every medical website I looked at said the same thing. She needed to see a doctor, like yesterday. When I asked Storm about Sweetest, she said now was a good time to talk to her because she and her husband Gideon would be leaving to go back to the Dominican Republic soon, and there was no telling when they would be coming back. She said she would take me by their house, which wasn't too far from the Lion's Den tomorrow, so that was perfect. After we got through with eating, Mama Rita went and packed some food for Caleb's lunch. As we said our goodbyes, I promised her that I would bring Eve over her house Sunday so that she could spend some time with her. Then we headed out and dropped Mika off first. She thanked me for getting her out the house, telling me she had an amazing time. When it was just Couture, Shantae, and I in the truck, I thanked them for just being them. "That's alright, we're gonna start charging you for how you use us," Couture grumbled. "Straight up, I can use the money too, cause them damn Chinese done went up on their hair again. And you already know they got Couture started right back up again." Eventually, I got those crazy girls out of my car. Dropped Caleb's lunch off to him, but I didn't have time to chat with him because I was running late for my dance class.
Wow, where you rushing off to so fast?
He asked, wrapping his arm around my waist, bringing me to a stop. I turned to his arms, lifting my hand gently, rubbing my fingers through his beard. Did I tell y'all how handsome my man is? "I'm sorry, I can't stay longer. I'm late for class." He frowned.
But you just got here. You're not even gonna have lunch with me?
"I already had lunch with your mother, Mika, Couture, and Shantae." At first, he looked surprised.
Wow, you got Mika out the house?
Chuckling, I nodded my head. "I sure did. All I had to do was offer to treat her to one of your mother's steaks. I keep telling you, there ain't nobody in the hood that would turn down a Mama Rita steak." It was his turn to chuckle. Then he leaned down and gently kissed my lips. "What was that for?" I asked.
That was for a very special woman.
"Really?" His words made me feel like spun sugar on the inside.
Yep, I'm the luckiest man in the world.
He paused.
Damn luck, I'm blessed.
Man, I was cheesing so hard by this point my cheeks hurt. Standing on my toes, I returned his kiss.
What was that for, he asked.
"It's me who has been blessed. I can't imagine my life without you."
It's amazing how y'all works, isn't it? He whispered.
I nearly drowned in his gaze. "Yes, it is." As I drove from the shop, I thought about the words I just told him. Where would I be without him? All this time I thought he ruined my life, when he actually saved it. Stormy had been right. Our minds were not like Yah's. We can only see one-dimensional, while the Heavenly Father sees through all dimensions. The very thing I thought to be a curse was a blessing, and the very thing I thought would be a blessing would have turned out to be a curse. I have been so lost in my view on life. For as long as I can remember, my goal had been to go to Juilliard and become a famous dancer. But had I done that, I would have missed out on 4 major blessings: Yah, Yahusha, Caleb, and Eve. I can't imagine my life without them. The sound of loud, oncoming honking drew my attention. I looked up just in time to see the headlights of a white truck coming fast before it slammed in the side of my truck. I cried out as pain exploded in my head while trying to turn the steering wheel so that I didn't hit someone else. Eventually my truck came to a stop, but the only thing I could do was brace myself for the impact of another car. When it did happen, I looked around me trying to focus. Something warm dripped in my eye. I wiped at it with hands that shook before staring down at my fingers confused. They were covered in blood. Was I bleeding? My thoughts were muddled as I tried to figure out what happened. But before I could get head or tails of the situation, my driver's side door was snatched open.
You coming with me, bitch?
I heard before somebody reached in and took off my seatbelt. I recognized that voice. Rashid? I whispered, barely able to speak because I was fighting to stay conscious. There was another man with him, but they both had on masks. Rashid, what are you doing?
Shut up!
He growled before he punched me hard. And I didn't have to fight anymore. After that, everything went black.